From the Oak Wall Studios in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hello, this is Jesse Oakley III, and welcome to the Oak Zone. And today is Sunday morning, and it's time for the Sunday morning chat series. And here you get to hear from a plethora of positive people that are making a big difference in their community. Now, I have with you a great episode, and we are going to talk about the wonders and the values of volunteering. And we have a volunteering expert that is here on the Sunday morning chat series. So, without any further delay, let's get started and talk to none other than the one, the only, Peggi Peaslee. Hey, Peggy, how's it going?
Fantastic. How are you today, Jesse?
I'm doing very well, and thank you for coming on the show for this wonderful Sunday morning.
My pleasure. My pleasure. It's always good to talk to you and to share information with others.
All right, and without any further delay, let's chat.
All right.
Okay, now, how did you get your start in the volunteer work?
Wow. This started a very long time ago. I've always had what I call a servant's heart. And it probably comes from having a rough childhood, having times when I struggled raising my children, going hungry, and really relying on others to help me. And with that, it started me giving back to my community. I gave back through my church. I gave back through foster homes and through food pantries. And that's really where I started. You know, one of the most interesting things to me is I raised my children with that same heart. And every Christmas, they would open all of their gifts, and then they got to choose one gift, any gift they wanted. And they would choose a gift that they had opened, and we would wrap it again, and we would bring it down to the shelter, the homeless shelter, so that they could share what they got with somebody else in their family. And so this is just part of who I am, Jesse. It's part of what fills my heart and fills my soul and fills my life.
I tell you, that is truly dynamic. And what are some of the benefits of giving with a servant's heart? Because you mentioned about servant's heart, and I would like to know a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So, we're all human, and we rely on that human connection. For me, some of the benefits of having a servant's heart and leading with a servant's heart is always to remain humble. I have this saying that's hung up in my wall in my bedroom that says, always be humble and kind. And no matter how well I do in life, whether it's financial or in love or in anything, I always want to remain humble. And when we do that, we can live our authentic self. And by living our authentic self, we make lifetime connections. And every single time I give back to my community, it's the best day of my life. And it gets my day started in such a wonderful and blessed way.
Whew, that just gets me right here, Peggy, especially helping people out and just making a big difference. And this is why I love having you on this show, because you have a story to tell about making a big difference in a community. Now, Peggy, the next question I have for you is, we all face challenges in whatever we do. What type of challenges have you had with giving and having that servant's heart?
Yeah, there are times when your heart gets broken because sometimes you want more for someone else than they can feel in their own heart or in their own life.
Mm-hmm.
And it does make me emotional because it is heartbreaking.
Yes.
It's heartbreaking when you can't raise somebody up. And so that hurts. So with giving and having a servant's heart, it's not always full of joy, right? We feel that pain, but that's also what keeps us humble. It's what keeps us human.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what reminds us that, there was a time in my life that I was there and I didn't believe in myself. And I'm sure that there was somebody trying to help me and I just didn't see it. I couldn't feel it. I was so down. And, so that's one of the biggest challenges is the pain that can come along with it, or watching somebody go down a wrong path when you've tried so hard to help them and knowing that there's just nothing else you can do other than pray for them.
Yep. That is very true. That is extremely true. Now, what were some, we talked about the benefits, but personally, what were some of the best stories that you had when it comes to giving and having that wonderful heart?
Yeah. So there's a couple I can share with you. One was many, many years ago, um, probably about 25 years ago or so. And there was a young boy, a teenager, and he was really struggling with reading. And I would sit at night and I would record some scripture for him. And the next day I would give it to him. And through this, he would listen, he would read on the page, and he was learning to read. And he was learning so much about himself and to love himself and to be able to go out in the world and become a wonderful, wonderful man. And just having that little tiny piece in his life made such a big difference in mine, because it reminded me that, not all families are the same. And when somebody is honest and vulnerable with you, and a teenager to come to me and tell me that he can't read and he had nobody to help him, nobody would help him. That was an honor and a blessing to be able to help this young man and watch him succeed in life and just be his cheerleader all the way through. And then another one is a time when I was personally down and out. And a neighbor of mine that I didn't know very well, I saw her, it was Thanksgiving time. I saw her at the supermarket, and she just knew that I was struggling. And she invited me and my children to her home for a Thanksgiving dinner, which I was too prideful and said, no, thank you, which turned into a longer conversation. And she became one of my very best friends, and we did share and we broke bread together on that Thanksgiving at her home. And she cared for me and she loved me. And I was then able to do that the next year for someone else, because it keeps you whole. It keeps you whole when you have these experiences. And so the next year, I found a family that was in the same place that I was 1 year prior. And I was able to open my home and open my doors to their family to come join us and share in a wonderful meal and know that somebody else cares about them.
Wow, two phenomenal stories. And I tell you what, the more stories you tell about this, the more like the Grinch. Well, I'm not like the Grinch, but my heart grew 3 times as big, especially hearing stories like that. Oh my goodness, fantastic. Now, let's say that you meet someone that is inspired and amazed with the work that you're doing for volunteering, and they want to do the same thing that you're doing. What advice would you give to that aspiring individual who wants to be in your shoes?
Number one, come join me. Come join me. Come join me at the food bank. Let's pack some food for these families. Let's load up their cars. Let's share together. Let's do this together. Let's partner. And if you're far away from me, I'll connect you with somebody in your local area so you don't have to go it alone, because we learn together. And come to Feed My Starving Children, one of my other favorites. And let's help this whole globe, right? Let's help children and families around the world together. And all you have to do truly is say yes. Oh, yeah. Say yes, and let your heart be open to truly feel the benefit of what you're doing for someone else, and you'll be hooked.
Ooh wee! You said a whole lot right there. My goodness. Now, is there any place that they can go where they can help out with volunteer work? What type of websites can they go to?
Yes. First of all, you can just Google volunteering in my community. Number one. Number two, there's always a local food bank. You can check them out through Food for Hope, Feed My Starving Children. All of these places have websites. Look in your local community for shelters, homeless shelters. I guarantee you're going to find either a Salvation Army, a St. Mary's Food Bank, St. Vincent de Paul. You're going to find one of these places. A Ronald McDonald house. That's a great place to be able to go and serve meals. The Andre House is close here in Phoenix. And so wherever you are, There are all these homeless shelters that can use your help. There are food banks, there are churches. Man, the list goes on and on and on.
And for those happy people out there that are getting overwhelmed by all this information, do not fret, because I'll post some of these links that Peggy mentioned in the description right here below. So after this interview, you can go ahead and check out a link right there below, and I'm sure that the helping hands will be waiting there for you. And would you agree, Peggy?
Absolutely, 100%. And anybody is also welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn or Facebook. If they have questions and need help, I am happy to help you.
And also, in addition to that, Peggy's information will be in the description right below as well. All right, Peggy, I really love this episode, especially talking about different stories and opportunities and best moments. Time flies when you're having a whole lot of fun. And I have a couple more questions to ask you. This part of the episode is called our shout out portion. And if you'd like to give a shout out to anybody out there for making all this possible, who would you like to give a shout out to?
Oh boy, the list could be endless, but I will tell you that there's two people that come to my heart immediately. One is my friend Patty. She's the one who opened her home to me that Thanksgiving and has stayed by my side like a sister. The other one is Bernadette. Bernadette is my bestie, again, another sister, and always walking by my side. She's there to lift me up when I'm down, and we volunteer together. And of course, my children, right? My Jacqueline, my Christopher, they're just amazing adults. And again, they have that given spirit, and I'm just so honored to be their mom.
Fantastic group of people. And as you mentioned before, the list can get quite endless with all the wonderful people that are still out there in this world. Now, the last question I have for you is directed towards my people, my crew, which is called the happy people. They're usually inspired and motivated by videos like this. And if you can offer one solid words of wisdom, one more words of wisdom for my crew, my people, the happy people, what would it be?
Okay, happy people, I want you to focus forward, enjoy life's journey. Even when you're going down, you know you're going to come right back up. Stay happy, stay positive, stay humble, and never, ever, ever give up.
Yes. Oh my goodness. What a perfect bookend to this wonderful interview. And on behalf of my crew, the happy people, I would like to take this time out to thank you for being a part of the Oak Zone Sunday Morning Chat Series.
Thank you so much. And let's all be happy people.
All right. Yes, yes, yes. Now, this concludes this episode of the Oak Zone Sunday Morning Chat Series. If you want more of the past interviews that I've done, just go to my YouTube page, Jesse Oakley III, and you get a chance for me to interview positive people like my friend Peggy over here. And this concludes this episode of the Sunday Morning Chat Series. Until next time, you take care and remember to always have a great day. Bye.
Bye.